So today I'm back to review the last Fast and Furious film, apart, not including Hobbs and Shaw, which is technically a spin-off. We made it, we did it, we got through them all, which I'm quite shocked about, I've got to be honest. I was slightly worried that I was going to give up halfway through, but we've done it. We're here, Fate the Furious, Fast and Furious 8, the most recent one. And I've got to be honest, I was a bit disappointed with this one. I don't know. I'll talk about it in a second, but there was just something that just didn't do it for me, and I think it was slightly worse than the last two, especially because the last two had been so good. This one was just not quite as good in my opinion, but let's get on to the review and see what I thought. So, following on from the events of Fast and Furious 7, where we said a sad goodbye to Paul Walker, now we're back with the rest of the team. They've all retired and gone to live their separate ways. Dom and Letty are married, they're living off in Cuba, the others are around the world, and Dom gets approached by a mystery woman who tells him that he's going to come and work for her, and with some reluctance he actually follows through with it and goes and turns rogue, turns on all of the rest of his team, and we're following the film of them trying to get Dom back to the good side and find out what exactly is driving him to suddenly go rogue. So I do think this one had an interesting idea with Dom becoming a rogue agent and going against his team as opposed to working with them. And he was brainwashed by, like I say, a lady. She was played by Charlize Theron. And she was fine. She was good. She was like a sort of hacker, I guess is the best way to put it. And she had a lot of technological intelligence. There's a really good scene in the middle of the film where they do kind of like a zombie cars, as they call it, where she manipulates all of the self-driving services and causes lots of chaos for the Fast and Furious team and the people they're trying to get the nuclear codes off. But it was really good. It was a clever idea. It was very sort of this time, because especially when the first films came out, they definitely wouldn't have been able to do that because, self-drive wasn't really that much of a thing back then. But now a lot of people, especially in America where the film's set, have self-driving cars, so it works really well. Statham is currently in a prison. It's shown at the end of Fast and Furious 7. And now, because of Dom's actions, Hobbs is also in the same prison as him. And they orchestrate, they kind of accidentally fall into a prison break scene, which it was really good actually. I quite enjoyed that bit of the film, watching Hobbs trying to chase down Shaw while Shaw is trying to escape the prison. Watching Hobbs trying to catch up to Shaw whilst Shaw is, trying to escape the prison that he's been subjected to. It worked really well. I quite enjoyed that little sequence, and they're obviously trying to defeat all the prison guards and the other prisoners to be the ones to get out. So that was a good little sequence. It has got a lot of action in this film, but I don't think it was as well directed as some of the other films, especially the last three. I think this film, especially, I'll talk about it in a minute, but especially the ending sequence, I think it was really, really too heavily reliant on slow-mo. I understand that these films are big action, and of course they're going to have slow-mo sequences, but especially at the end, there was way too much of it. It was like every little thing, every little jump they did was in slow-mo. And I think it's fine to introduce it, it's fine to use the slow-mo effect, but just not to the extent it was used. Spoilers, but I guess the reason we find out that Dom went along with Charlize Theron's plan is because he actually has a son with Eleanor, who is in some of the previous films. We've not heard from her for a while. But this was quite a big shock because I actually didn't know this happened at all in the films. I thought it was just Brian was the one with a child. But yeah, we find out Dom has got a son, and we have to see how Dom then adapts to not just having Letty to care for and protect, but he also has this child that he's now looking out for. And I thought it was really, really cute. They, at the end of the film, they call the child Brian, obviously after Paul Walker and Brian, which I thought was a really, really cute little idea. It'll be interesting to see going forward how the Brian, or new Brian Jr., is sort of integrated into the franchise. Whether we'll see him in another film, or he'll go off to maybe live with Mia, but I'm not too sure. It'd be exciting to wait and see how Dom handles being a dad, which is a weird idea. I think similar to some of the other films, this one is really clever. I do like when they sort of add the twists in the film that when you sort of first watch it, you won't notice, but when you obviously keep watching them and the films keep going, you know, you find out all these little things that you would have not noticed at all the first time you watched it. They do this a lot in this film, especially in a scene where Dom is fixing his car up, and I won't spoil what happens in it, but you see him kind of, you know, in their eyes fixing a car, but he's actually doing lots of other things at the same time, and he cleverly plays with the cameras and the baddies watching him to still be able to execute what he's trying to do. Talk about the big climax of the film. So in this one, like I say, the bad guys have got the nuclear codes and they're trying to get they've got an EMP as well, and they're trying to take control of a submarine. And the team, are obviously the goodies, are trying to stop Dom and turn him back to the good side, and trying to stop this submarine getting out, because if they do, the bad guys will be able to launch a load of nukes over the world. And the ending was good, don't get me wrong. You know, they're theoretically going up against a submarine on like an ice lake, but I don't know, it just, like I say, it just lacked something, and like I said already, there was so much slow-mo in it that it kind of took away from it for me. I don't know what it is, it just didn't work as well as some of the other ending sequences. I understand that obviously with each film they're getting bigger budgets and they want to be able to do bigger stunts, but it just didn't work for me as well. And obviously Dom, by the end of the film, is back on the good side, which is, you know, kind of predictable, and obviously to be expected, but I just, yeah, it just didn't have quite, just wasn't quite as like, yeah, wow, look at this, it's so cool, as some of the other films had. So I was slightly disappointed with the ending. I know some people are going to say, you know, they had a submarine but it was on ice and there was loads of stunts. Like, there was, but it just wasn't as good for me. Just didn't enjoy that ending quite as much. The actual end of the film, how it's all wrapped up and Dom's got his son and all of the brothers are back on the good side and they're all together. I liked that, and there's a really great scene where Jason Statham is protecting Dom's son, and that was really, really good. But, yeah, there was just a few little bits that just didn't really work for me in this one. I do like that the bad guy technically won in this film. Like, they defeated the submarine, but she got away, and I think she's actually going to be in Fast and Furious 9, if I remember correctly. I like that everything wasn't fully wrapped up. Some of the bits, you know, like the bad guy getting away, and that she can still, you know, pose a threat to them in the next film. Because a lot of them were obviously wrapped up in quite a neat bow, but now they're sort of becoming more complex story-wise. I think that was a really good little ending. And, you know, they have their dinner and they say grace, and they actually weren't drinking Corona, which was a shock. But, you know, they're there, but they know the threat is still out there. So now it will continue on to Fast and Furious 9, and we'll see whether they're able to defeat her in this new one. Overall, I don't think this was the strongest out in the Fast franchise. It was still good, none of them are bad, I just think it was missing a bit of something. Yeah, it had a few good sequences. I just think the ending stunt just was not as good as some of the other ones, which is a shame. But I am excited to see what happens next, because the next one I get to go and see in the cinema, which I am excited about, because it's going to be on the big screen, so it'll be even better. OK entry, just wasn't quite as good as some of the others. But yeah, that's my view of Fast and Furious 8, or Fate of the Furious. And I'm excited to see what happens next. I've watched them all now, which is mental. I'm going to see Hobbs and Shaw hopefully this week. I'm not sure if that review will be up before or after Fast and Furious 9, but we'll have to wait and see. Once I've watched Hobbs and Shaw and Fast 9, then I'll give you a full breakdown and ranking of which ones are my favourite and which ones are my least favourite. But yeah, we've made it to the end. I can't believe it. I don't know what I'm going to review next. We'll have to wait and see. So I will see you next time, and enjoy the rest of your day. That's my view. See you later. Bye.